Spider People storm the shelves as Peter Parker, Miles Morales, and Cindy Moon all have new issues coming out. What's up, everybody? I'm Stan, and welcome to Detail Comics, where we go over comics in detail. This is Preview Picks, where I give you an idea of what's coming up this week for comic books, and whether there's something you should pick up too. To start off with, we're going to go with DC, where we've got The Dark Knight 3 Master Race, issue number 5. This book, written by Frank Miller and Brian Azzarello, has kind of been plagued by issues regarding release times, so it's taken a very long time for issue 5 and the preceding issues to get to shelves. Overall, it's not something that I'm really reading. It's something that I'm more interested in possibly picking up in trade, but for those of you that are fans, this is one that you should go grab. Also, DC's pretty light this week with no new Rebirth titles being released, but you're going to see something like Deathstroke Annual number 2, Grayson Annual number 3, and then Teen Titans Annual number 2, which are going to be collections and compilations of stories that didn't quite make it into the main books. So those are things that, fans can pick up to kind of tide them over until we get new releases next month. Then from Dark Horse, one of the books that I'm going to be looking out for is Cryptocracy number 1. So this debut issue deals with kind of like that Illuminati, secret society, super black world government kind of situation. It's definitely an interesting tale, and it kind of goes into a different genre than what most people read, so I think it's going to be really fun to go grab. Then we go on to Image, where there's a bunch of ongoing series that are getting new issues, but the big one that stands out to me is Jupiter's Legacy Volume 2, Issue 1, written by Mark Millar. So this book is a continuation of the previous Jupiter's Legacy, which was actually free on Comixology for about 24 hours, so you could get caught up. And Mark Millar, he writes a ton of stuff. Again, it's a love it or hate it kind of situation when it comes to the stories that Mark Millar writes, but it's something I'm going to be taking a look at. Marvel's putting the most books on the shelf this week, and we're going to start off with Amazing Spider-Man and Silk, issue number 4. So this is a book written by Robbie Thompson, who's also penning the Silk book, and it's kind of a story of time travel and how Cindy Moon and Peter Parker kind of go back in time and get introduced to their origin stories and get to know Uncle Ben as a character a little bit more. It's interesting, I guess. It's something that I'm going to kind of keep going with because it shouldn't be a series that's going to run for too terribly long. It's probably best to be described as a mini that isn't really going to go down in history, but I'm a completionist in most respects, so I've got to finish this one out. Then we get into a highly anticipated book, and that is Black Panther number 3. So Black Panther number 3 is the ongoing story written by Ta-Nehisi Coates and illustrated by Brian Stelfreeze, and it's really dealing with the civil unrest that's happening in Wakanda right now, including the rebellion of some of Black Panther's own elite guards people. So I'm really interested to see where this story goes, and hopefully this delay that they had, it's been set back about 3 weeks from when its original release date was supposed to be, is more of a one-time thing than a kind of continuing, ongoing issue that's going to be happening. I've really got strong, hopes for this particular book, and I want to see it come out as regular as possible. After that, we get into a controversial book that's getting its second issue, and that is Captain America Steve Rogers number 2, written by Nick Spencer. So with that single last-page reveal, basically, Nick Spencer set the world on fire, or at least the internet, or at least people that don't understand comic books, or, really, it's one of those situations where you don't get the dynamic of storytelling, and you feel like this is a situation where, oh my god, they just turned Cap into boop, and it's frustrating sometimes to see how people react and how little they give the story a chance to breathe. And that's really what you need to do. You need to give the story a chance to breathe and see where he's going. Then after he's done telling a story, you can be like, oh, that was a really shitty story. Or it's like, nope, that turn was kind of worth it. I really appreciate where that took me. Then we get to go heavy on the Spider People, and we're going to start off with Silk number 9. So Silk number 9, we basically saw Silk come back from this kind of crossover Spider-Woman event with SpiderGwen and Spider-Woman, Jessica Drew, and she felt conflicted because she saw the alternate universe version of herself and how much potential she had. So she's going to dive right into this life of crime with Black Cat. And the biggest thing about this book is 2 things. Silk is overall, she's an okay character, and I like the way that they're delving into some of the mental situations. She was in isolation for a decade or more, and that's taken a toll on her as a character. The fun thing is, Helen Chen, this cover is awesome. She's been doing a killer job with the covers, and then it shows the return of Stacey Lee for at least this issue to the interior artwork, and Stacey Lee helped really shape Cindy Moon and Silk overall, and I'm really excited about her. Even if it's just for one issue, she's going to be a welcome, refreshing breath of fresh air onto the Silk book. After that, we're going to get into Spider-Man number 5. So Spider-Man number 5 is the ongoing tale of Miles Morales, who was from the Ultimate Universe and is now in the 616 universe, and it's written by Brian Michael Bendis. And Brian Michael Bendis writes Iron Man very well, and he writes Miles Morales very well. Everything else, you can kind of throw it up in the air. The whole Civil War II kind of storyline is a little hit or miss at this point in time. I'm still interested to see where it goes. But if I'm picking up 2 books from Brian Michael Bendis, it's this book at the top, and then Iron Man is really a close second at this point in time. And we see Black Cat make her move on Spider-Man. And how's that going to end up? Who knows? After Miles Morales, we're going to go to Spider-Gwen Annual number 1, written by Jason Latour, with a various group of artists that are going to go onto it. And it's basically a collection of 3 or 4 different stories into a larger volume for the anniversary of the entire year of printing. So that's pretty awesome, and I'm excited to see where that's going. I saw some preview art for a few different stories, and I'm not necessarily sure how great they're going to be. Anytime that you take Robbie Rodriguez off of the art for Spider-Gwen, it feels a little bit off. But hopefully the stories are going to kind of redeem those things. Then we get down to one of the most crazy things, and that's Spider-Man Deadpool. So Spider-Man Deadpool is not only releasing issue 6 this week, it's releasing a shit ton of reprints. So Spider-Man Deadpool issue 1 is getting its 6th printing, issue 2 is getting its 5th printing, issue 3 is getting its 4th printing, issue 5 is getting its 2nd printing, and that's on top of the new issue coming out. Overall, there's just been a lot of love for this series, even though I haven't really had the opportunity to read it. But because of all these new printings coming out, it's a great opportunity for anybody that was kind of curious about that whole crossover potential and crossover appeal to really go out, pick up those books, and get into this kind of storyline. I know that I'm going to probably be giving it a shot, so we'll see how that really goes. Lastly, we're going to get into 2 books by Black Mask. And Black Mask is releasing 4 Kids Walk Into a Bank issue 2, which is hopefully it's a very strong follow-up to book number 1, which opened in a great way. I really like the way that these kids were developed as characters and the whole kind of situation with their father and the thuggery and all those kind of things. I am really excited about this issue, and unfortunately it looks like it's been delayed for a little while, so I just want to see it come out on a consistent release schedule. The other thing from Black Mask is Jade Street Protection Services issue 1. So I'm going to have to go to my notes on this one just to give you an idea what it's all about. This is supposed to mash The Breakfast Club and Sailor Moon together. It's set around bad students at Matsdaughter Academy, which is an elite private school for magical girls. They meet in a totally unfair detention, and it refers to them as punk rock witches. I don't know what the hell is going on with this thing. The cover looks really cool. It's something that I'm going to pick up and I'm going to flip through and be like, wow, is this for me or is it not? But it's the one thing that kind of jumped out at me because it's clearly the most anime, manga kind of influenced book that's really on the shelf that I could see was being released this week. And it's going to be interesting to see how they pay homage or whether they kind of do something a little bit more blatant with it. I don't know, man. It's 50-50. It could become, thumbs up or it could be thumbs down or it could be like somewhere in the middle. Only time will tell, but I want to make people aware of it as well. So that's it for this episode of Preview Picks, but what I want to hear in the comments down below is what you're picking up this week, because I know that I can't cover everything here. However, if you like what you see, hit that like button down below, and don't forget to subscribe to get more news and reviews regarding comic books, comic book movies, comic book TV shows and games, and anything and everything inside the world of comics.